I always think that God reserves the lisp for truly dangerous people.
Hi, this is Michael Hutchence.
Oh, he was a bad dude.
A rock god.
He was a showman.
Megastar.
Songwriter.
And a performer.
He was a brother.
Storyteller.
He was a rock star. Some people have it.
The raw talent.
Sensitive.
And cheeky.
He was a really great frontman.
He'd walk onto a stage and just light it up.
And the whole place went completely crazy.
Everyone from Bono to Mick Jagger, everybody looked at Michael.
We had a lot of laughs.
He liked having fun.
Johnny Depp's just set his shirt on fire.
He liked partying.
It got dangerous.
Total indulgence.
He liked drugs.
Almost disturbing.
He liked girls.
This gorgeous cat.
Men admired him and women loved him.
He was a damn funny bastard. Amazing.
Had the world at his feet.
He was kicking ass and the girls were screaming.
He was in his prime.
I was standing next to the king.
The superstar of that night was the great Michael Hutchence.
That was his last gig.
It was a darker Michael.
You know, he needed a break.
He split up with Paula.
I don't think he was suicidal.
It's a war.
You know, the call with Bob.
I just don't talk about those things.
Angry. Disappointed. Lonely.
That's when we lost him.
The international music industry is in shock with the death of rock star Michael Hutchence.
It was shocking and unbelievable.
We'll never see him again.
It wasn't his time to go.
Under curious circumstances.
Nobody asked the real story.
I think this is the biggest unanswered question in rock and roll, to be honest.
Only Michael knows.
Then there's the music.
It's gonna be big.
What you have is something that nobody else has.
I got goosebumps.
We have his music forever.
This is what people remember.
It's really good.
Beautiful ending. She just touched the souls of so many people.
He's going to write the final chapter.
Michael was the last rock star.
What is all the fame you've amassed? What's it like for the soul?
For the soul, I think you are basically going to be the same, hopefully the same person from the beginning to the end. If you're a better person at the end, because you've had a lot of great experiences and, you know, the soul, I think the soul can get a little bit put on the shelf during, you know, the madness. There's a lot of madness and it's in the fine print, you know? And then you have to go back and reclaim it.
Earlier in the year of '97, he called my mother. He said, "I just can't take it anymore." He started to weep. He said, "I don't know what to do. I'm torn and I just can't take any of it anymore."
Was he lost or finding his way?
I think he was finding his way, but I think in the process of it, it got a little bit overwhelming.
He was very keen to stop the continual living out of a suitcase. It sort of worn thin on him and to sort of put down some roots. Because he was 37, he'd been at it, you know, 20-odd years. Hard life.
In May 1997, concerned about Michael's health, his friend Colin Diamond invited him to Bali for an adventure holiday.
Guy said to him, "Michael, get over here. I want you to learn how to paraglide." And he was right up for it immediately. I got him over and we leased a house and Paula came out with Pixie and Peaches and Tiger and we took him down and I had him trained and he was just so, you know, excited about the whole process.
But there's a moment, though, where you have to make the leap.
Yeah.
Do you remember that moment?
I do. I can remember it. I'm going to say, I'm going to chuck you off a cliff, Hutcho. And we did. He didn't hesitate. He just went, boom, boots and all, let's go. flew perfectly out horizontally, and then he did a perfect beach landing.
I just remember him going like this and going, yeah, and I get it. And he couldn't wait to be able to go up and do soaring flights.
Malcolm Williams not only trained Michael, but he and his wife Edith hosted the whole family, including tiny Tiger Lily.
I mean, Tiger Lily was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous baby, you know. I mean, she was easy, she was smiley, she was happy.
Smelly tiger, smelly tiger, smelly tiger, smelly doom, 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 doom. You don't understand it.
Michael loved being a dad.
I didn't know that.
And he and Paula wanted another baby.
Huh?
He was actively having fertility treatment in the UK with Paula. They were looking at having another child together.
You're busy. Yes, Mummy. Busy. No, Helen, darling.
Paula was planning, and Michael and I had discussions about them getting married in Tahiti. They wanted to get married in Tahiti in the following July.
But as the year progressed, so did the problems confronting Michael. Foremost was Paula's custody battle with Bob Geldof, her former husband.
The court is in the process of deciding where the children are to live for the time being, pending a full hearing to take place at a future date. No decision has yet been reached. You know, the thing with Paula and Bob and all that was pulling at him just dramatically. You know, it was a lot of stress. It was really wearing him down.
Towards the end of the year, a troubled Michael confided in Kirk Pengilly about his relationship with Paula.
We did talk a fair bit about it, and he actually, you know, from what he told me, he had a plan in place to basically split up with Paula.
I don't think that was correct at all. You know, perhaps someone that's under that amount of stress and, you know, could have said something like offhanded, but the discussions that I had with Michael all the way through was certainly not to leave her. He was more interested in getting back to London to complete the fertility treatment to have another child.
Perhaps both men, both good friends of Michael, are right. After his head injury, he experienced terrible mood swings, something Nick Egan witnessed firsthand.
Nicky, 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 Nick, 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 Nick. Call me. It's Mike.
Nick remembers Michael phoning him from a hotel room while on a trip to California with Paula and the girls.
And he was almost desperate for me to come down. So I went down and I walked into the hotel room. All the lights were on. The TV was turned up full volume with cartoons on it. There were the kids like, I want room service. And it was like a script. And I saw Michael going, almost like, save me from this, save me. So we went for dinner across the street at some Thai restaurant just there. And Michael, for the first time ever, to me, was desperate. And desperate and confused and speaking in tongues almost. Because one minute it was going, I can't marry her, I can't marry her, I can't marry her, to the next minute going, we're going to get married when we get down to Australia. And then this kind of thing about getting custody. And you know, I'd found out that he was on Prozac. And I said to him, and this was the really beginnings of Prozac, and I said, but how are you taking Prozac, Michael? It's not like you got a headache, you pop a pill and your headache goes away. It doesn't work like that. You have to take it. Whether you're feeling good or not, you have to take it and have to take it. And you can't drink with it, and you certainly can't do cocaine with it.
In the space of a few years, the happy, seemingly ageless Michael Hutchence had changed. His friends, like Peter Wilson, were worried about him.
I was really shocked because I hadn't seen him for a couple of years, and then I saw him, and I just said to my son's father, I said, I'm really worried. The light was going out. You know, he just seemed a bit lost. and he seemed isolated and alone, even within company.
I was very concerned about his well-being.
He was in terrible shape. He was on a very high dosage of antidepressants. And he was just popping them. And he'd started that with the head injury that had gone off, but with all the press, he'd taken them on again. What I didn't know at the time was that he was in such bad shape that he was forgetting his own lyrics.
Also weighing on Michael's mind was an upcoming tour with INXS. He was to rejoin them in Australia at the end of November.
Some call it madness, I call it love.
I was quite against it. And I said to him when he was in LA, I said, mate, you know, only do this if it's sold out. If it's not sold out, let's not do it. Look after yourself. Your health's priority, you know. You've got other things on. I know you're stressed out about the proceedings in the UK. You want to get home to see Paula. You want to get home to see Tiger. Let's cancel this tour and deal with family issues and then deal with your health and let's prioritise it. But he was committed.
The band, it was, you know, on with the show. We need to do this. And they just pushed for that tour. And with Michael, he was such a softie, and he felt, what could he do? He'd be letting them down. He didn't want to do that.
He was adamant he wanted to complete that Australian tour for the band.
For the band?
For the band. He said, no matter what, I'm going to do it. I'll finish it, and then I'll have a break.
I think if that was scheduled at another time and place and date, it might have actually worked out. I don't think Michael wanted to die.
I'd love to be a famous movie star. It's really hard work, though, I've heard.
You see a lot of waiting.
Yeah, a lot of waiting.
Yeah, you do a lot of bar work.
No, it's I really, really do enjoy movies. And I mean, I spend time on sets of movies just hanging around and watching the process of it.
In November 1997, just before he flew to Australia to join INXS for a tour, Michael was in Los Angeles. He was not only recording new music, but auditioning for movie roles with directors like Quentin Tarantino.
He took the acting really seriously. Like, I know at one point he had a meeting with De Niro's company in New York, thinking, you know, and he studied the lines for days, and, you know, he was prepared.
He was quite chuffed to me. He sort of said to me on the phone, hey, Colin, I'm going to become a movie star. I'm going to take Hollywood by the horns.
Michael saw acting as a possible second career.
Everything was looking so positive. Everything in the movie line was looking good. Everything in the music line was looking good.
On one of his last nights in LA before flying to Sydney to rehearse with INXS, Michael ran into Bernard Fowler at a sushi restaurant. The long-time Rolling Stones backup singer had put together an all-star band for a one-off performance the next night at the Viper Room.
I'm standing there waiting to be seated, and I hear somebody say, hey, brother, how you doing? And I turn around, and I'm like, Michael. And we talked a bit. He said, what are you doing? I said, listen, I'm doing a jam at the Viper Room. I said, we're going to be rehearsing in my room. He said, what, in your hotel room? I said, yeah. I said, come on by. He comes by. What are we going to play? I don't know. So we sat in the room, and we made some cheat sheets.
How was he?
He seemed to be in a good place. I mean, he walked in the restaurant. He had 2 birds with him. So I'm sure he was in a good place. And they weren't bad looking either.
No video exists of Michael's appearance at the Viper Room, but there are rare and precious photos. By sheer chance, in the audience that night was this man, Hollywood photographer Jimmy Steinfeld.
Several of my friends were very closely involved in that show, most especially Danny Saber and Bernard Fowler. The band Nickelback, the great Billy Gibbons played that night, but the superstar of that night was the great Michael Hutchence.
Oh, guess who I jammed with? Fucking Billy Gibbons. Fucking from ZZ Top, man. The cool shit at the Viper Room, and he was there, and I turned around and went, it's Billy. All right, you're Billy, right? And he goes, yeah, man, I'm Billy.
How did the crowd respond when he got on?
Oh, my God. You know, I don't think they believe me because I remember it getting a little quiet. And then when he came on stage, they were like,
Remind me what song Michael sang.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we did Suffragette City.
Suffragette City. This place was packed. It was packed. It was hot. And he was doing his thing. He was good. He was good. And I was trying to be good, too. I was standing next to the king.
That night, I saw a really happy person. It was so happy and enjoyable that he was gallivanting around the club while I got everybody else backstage to pose for a photo.
Michael was hemmed up in the corner. People had him surrounded in the corner, so I couldn't get him to the corner to take that picture. So there is a picture of all of us that were there that night, and the only person not in that picture is Michael.
Not enough time for all that I want for you. Not enough.
It was an amazing night, though. Amazing night. Amazing night, and also a very sad night because that was his last gig.
I think we've had a pretty good time of it, because I think in Australia it's pretty tough to be successful. I don't think Australians really like you to be successful for too long in a way. They feel a bit uncomfortable with it. We're very much an underdog country, you know?
The tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah, the tall poppy syndrome. And I think we've got away with that somehow. We haven't had too much trouble with that, which is good. It's a good sign, you know? People should be proud of people, you know, from their own country doing well.
He never seemed suicidal to me. I don't think he was suicidal. And I do believe that his death was an accident. I really do.
Personally, I feel that after the last few conversations I had with him, the thing he wanted most of all was to be able to have Christmas here in Australia with his family.
In late November 1997, Michael left Los Angeles on a flight to Sydney to begin rehearsals with the rest of INXS for their Australian tour.
He called me a couple of hours before he was leaving on that flight. He said he didn't want to get the flight, he didn't want to go. He knew he owed it to the band, and I told him he didn't owe it to the band. He'd given them 20 years. they can wait. He felt, I think, in his mind, but he said, you know, this is the last tour I'm doing with them. I'll give them the last 6 nights. That was the last phone call.
Tiger Lily was in England with Paula when Michael arrived in Australia. On Friday, the 21st of November 1997, at the ABC Sydney studios, he and the band had a rehearsal. It was the last time his INXS brothers would see Michael alive.
We shared a joke, actually, when he left the rehearsal room, and I forget what the joke was about now. It didn't seem that important at the time, but we had a laugh about something, and he waved at me and he walked out the door.
What's happening myself.
90 minutes ago, here at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel at Double Bay, a man's body was found in the doorway inside one of the rooms on the 5th floor.
Tell us anything about what's happened inside? That's all right. No comment at the moment. Right.
The hotel maid was the lady who made the discovery. She was quite distressed and screamed for help, and security ran up there trying to revive the man. But it is the identity of the man that sadly will shock many.
It was a Saturday, and I got a phone call at home in the afternoon because I was in charge of the Rose Bay Detective's Office, and they rang and said that Michael Hutchence had died in the hotel room.
Look in the driveway here, you know, cars in and out. Just get out the driveway and do whatever you like, okay?
The international music industry is in shock with the death of rock star Michael Hutchence.
The body was found just before noon by a member of the hotel staff. The hotel room where the body was found has been secured, and crime scene investigators are completing investigations at this time.
Police won't confirm the cause of death, but they've taken a leather belt into possession for scientific examination.
It takes from the Australian and world rock scene one of our most gifted and talented performers, and it really is a very tragic event.
The British tabloid media were everywhere. There was reporters all over the place. There was photographers both sides of the street. Semicircle this side, along out the front, on the road, semicircle the other side, standing on the road this side, up on the balconies over here on the footpath. They were everywhere. There was a big crowd near the garage.
Strike back or I'll close off the whole area.
There's the undertaker's car pulling into the driveway over there to remove the body. All the reporters and the scrutiny, everyone looking, everyone trying to find out what was going on, making stuff up, rumours. It was horrible.
Now a comeback tour and one of the greatest acts in Australian music history has come to an abrupt and shock end.
How was Michael's body found?
The maid went into the room to change the room, and as she pushed the door, it wouldn't open. And she pushed it a bit harder and then heard a noise, and it was his body falling from the belt that had broken on the door closer. And she came in and saw his body and then ran down and alerted the other staff.
And the headlines were, Michael Hutchence dead at 37. And I can't tell you what that feels like.
Carry on, March.
Michael's body was found in room 524.
It was just a normal room of the hotel. It wasn't a suite or anything fancy. It was just a reasonably sized room. It was messy. The bed was all pulled back. There was rubbish everywhere. There was empty mini bar bottles and other bottles and glasses. It looked like there'd been people over and there'd been a bit of drinking going on. The rubbish was overflowing in the bin. There was some packets of some sort of illegal drug in the bin.
You're talking cocaine?
Cocaine. I think he had a fair bit of prescription drugs and other drugs in his system, and alcohol.
It's just baffling. And it still is to this day, to so many people. And everyone has their own ideas of how and why he went. And the truth is, only Michael knows.
On Michael's last night, he went to dinner with Kelland Susie, his father and stepmother, at this Indian restaurant not far from his hotel. Staff there remember his dad being concerned about his son.
His father said to him at one point, you know, is everything okay with you? I'm worried about you. He was holding Michael's hand.
I heard Michael say, everything's fine, Dad, don't worry, everything is all right. And they had a lovely meal. It was just a happy family having a nice meal for 3.5 hours.
After having that wonderful dinner with him, we dropped him back to the hotel about 10:30 that night, and he sort of waltzed off up to the front entrance and waved, and I thought, I wonder where you get up to tonight.
A couple of drinks at the bar, then went to his room, and he tried to contact some friends for them to come over.
He had left a message in the evening, having some drinks at the bar there, and to join him. But I actually was at a friend's house that night, so I didn't actually get the message until I went home the next morning.
I think he was looking for some company whilst he stayed up, waiting the call from Paula.
That's why he's staying up all night.
That's what I think it was. Yes, he was anticipating that call.
Michael was hoping that the call from Paula would be good news, that Bob Geldof had given his consent for her to bring Pixie and Peaches to Australia, along with Tiger Lily, for Christmas.
He was very excited about seeing Tiger.
Around midnight, Michael was joined in his room by some friends, Australian actress Kim Wilson and her boyfriend, Andrew Raymond. The three partied for several hours.
Stayed till about 5, I think.
After they left, Michael spoke to Paula in England, but the news was bad.
Bob felt that the two girls, Pixie and Peaches, shouldn't go to Australia.
Bob Geldof hadn't agreed to let the daughters he shared with Paula fly to Sydney.
And that, as far as Paula was concerned, put an end to the trip.
Meaning Tiger Lily would also be staying.
How did Michael sound during that telephone call?
Angry, disappointed, tired, lonely. All the things you least want someone to sound.
Michael told Paula he would ring Bob.
Said, I love you, I'm going to phone Bob right now, and I'm going to beg him, said it twice, to change his mind and let the children come to Australia.
And didn't end up that way. The person in the room next door could hear quite clearly the swearing and yelling.
It was angry.
It was angry, yes.
Police have taken statements from guests who were in the room next door to Hutchence. They heard a man shouting at the top of his voice, "She's not your wife anymore. Stop interfering."
Distressed, Michael then rang a number of friends, including his New York manager, Martha Troop. He left 2 messages on her answering machine.
The first one was, I've fucking had enough.
Martha, I've had enough. Says it all.
The second call, his voice was deep and slow, and he didn't sound very well.
So by the second call, the voice is slower.
Yes.
The words are slurred.
Yes.
He's unhappy. The anger is gone. There's something else.
Depression, probably, yes.
And his misfortune was that not everyone was available when he rang.
That's right.
I had a terribly restless night sleeping. I got up at 6 o'clock and I went in the kitchen, made some tea, and I just felt I wanted to call him. But knowing that he wasn't a very good morning person, I hesitated. I sat over there beside the phone for an hour, wondering, why did I feel this? Why did I, you know? I rang about just after 11 o'clock, and there was no answer in the room.
Kel Hutchence hung up. Not long after, a reporter rang him.
And he said, can you make a comment about Michael? And I said, about what? The tour or what? He said, no, about Michael. And I said, would you please explain yourself? He said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll ring the PR people. And I hung up, and I just sat there frozen. I thought he'd had an accident, you know. And just 2 minutes after that, the police came to the front door and told me. Yeah. Terrible. I don't think I can talk about that much more.
Before Michael died, he recorded a song called Slide Away with producer Andy Gill. The song is a duet. Bono sang his part after Michael's death.
Clearly, the subtext of the song there's some sense of foreboding. There's some sense of real vulnerability that I was feeling from Michael. And I was singing to that. I will catch you if you call. Like, you do have to call. You know, people who are feeling that agony need to make the call. Just call your friend and call your mates. I felt some agony in him. And then when we did the recording, I think I just put that down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, I think both of us thought it's hard for me to say this without getting kind of choked up, but it's, we saw his pain. And I think what we tried to do with Slide Away was to try and treat it in a gentle, graceful way.
I don't know what to think. Just can't believe it's happened.
These, we believe, are the last lyrics which we're told were found in the room. Can you have a look?
a yellow notepaper. That was what he had in the room.
So these are the last lyrics?
Yes, it looks to be what this is.
Can you read the front page?
Wouldn't be right to take it, wouldn't be right lying down, sick of the dogs outside my window. That's right, take a look, new plan with the hook stuck into me.
Michael Hutchence didn't leave a suicide note, but in his room, in his distinctive handwriting, police found the lyrics to his last song.
I mean, the night he died, he'd written music, which, you know, we've got the lyrics.
That was left in his hotel room?
That was left in his hotel room. He was writing right up until that evening.
On that yellow pad?
Yeah.
As one of the executors of Michael's estate, the handwritten lyrics were returned to Colin Diamond. They haven't been seen in 20 years.
It says, wouldn't be right to take it, wouldn't be right lying down, sick of the dogs outside my window, that's right, take a look, new plan with a hook stuck into me. Jesus. Those lyrics are actually from the last song we wrote together that he wrote in his life. He was using all this shit that was tearing him apart and putting it into a song, which is really the best you can do with that. What else are you gonna do, you know? But yeah, it's very revealing.
What astounded me with him was that a lot of people would get a pencil and paper and they would write out how they feel, and then they'd go back with the eraser and they'd rub out, I don't think so. The amazing thing with him, it used to shock me sometimes, he'd write a set of lyrics and he'd never go back. It just came out exactly like his thoughts. And it used to be very scary because the thing was what you saw was really exactly what he was thinking.
Look at the mess you're making. Look at the mess across your face. All the bitterness has started showing.
All the bitterness has started showing. 5 years, no one hears.
Just another heart too scared to bleed.
I just look at the way it's written, and you have to be like a psychologist to look that there was some insanity going on in the way that thing was written, and some anger and some rage.
What do you see in those lyrics?
Everything.
It seems like consistent, you know, confusion and self-loathing and inarticulate, kind of messy offering of that would precede his end. That's consistent, sad but true.
The hardest thing to look there is with a hook, I don't know, stuck into me. That is heavy. It's almost, you could say it's almost a suicide note. I mean, you could almost say that. I mean, if you want to look into it, it's pretty damning in terms of the dogs being the media. Take a look at a new plan being that you want to just get away and start again, which is, you know, is metaphoric there. And look at the mess across your face. That could be him talking about himself. Yeah, because that's the other thing about when you're in that state, you just don't want to look in the mirror. You know, you don't want to look in the mirror. And there's a self-loathing as well, I think, when you get to that point. Just that just wanted it to be over. It's definitely got that. But equally, yeah, if he'd gone to sleep and woken up the next morning, he might have screwed this up and thrown it in the bin. But it's a very, very, very interesting document, I think. Who else has seen this?
This is the last page. These are the last lines. Gave you some time to feel it. Tangled you up in flesh and blood. Just too scared of where it takes you. Spotlight blue to red, crashing in your head.
I'm not surprised, you know. Am I saddened and reminded of it? Sure, you know. Yeah. But it doesn't negate, you know, the light and the offering, and it completely, I've got, you know, I can accommodate that. I can accept that. I'll take it all. He gave it all. I receive.
When Michael wrote a song, he'd often also record himself practicing the lines on a dictaphone. In his final hours, Michael played the raw audio of what was to be his last song to Kim Wilson and her boyfriend.
Playing it on the cassette.
Yes.
We think this is the cassette.
This is Michael's final recording.
So, babies, come on, try. So, babies, come to cry. So, babies, come on now. And so, babies, in my ride. Take it. Wouldn't be right lying down. Sick of the dogs and out my window. That's like to me.
If he was referring to the dogs outside his window, they were still there after he died.
The press.
That's right.
How ferocious were they?
Horrible. Horrible.
Just get out the driveway and do whatever you like, okay?
I wasn't expecting that level of interest and that level of hostility.
It has been suggested that the death resulted from an act of autoeroticism. However, there is no forensic or other evidence to substantiate this suggestion. I am also satisfied that there was no other person involved in causing the death.
An inquest found Michael committed suicide shortly after running a bath and getting undressed. For some, like Paula Yates, these actions were inconsistent with Michael wanting to take his own life.
He would have hated to have been found naked, to have lost his dignity. He had lots of dignity. He would have dressed, he would have written a note, he would have done it as a ritual. If he'd have even thought of killing himself, which I don't believe he would ever have done, especially not with his responsibility to me and Tiger, which he took so seriously. So to be naked and just found like that, he must have been doing something else.
She didn't believe that it was suicide. She wanted the alternative that he died in a sex act gone wrong. She told me that in a crowded restaurant in Double Bay that she wanted to change the coroner's mind and tell him something that would make him change his decision on the ruling on the suicide.
What did she say in that restaurant?
Do you want me to say exactly what she said?
If you feel comfortable, if not.
She said that, I said, what could you possibly tell the coroner that would make him change his mind? And she shouted in a loud voice in the restaurant full of people, I'm going to tell him that Michael used to strangle me while he was fucking me till I went unconscious.
Did Michael ever choke you, strangle you, or tie you up in bed?
Oh, please. Can't ask me that, can you? Can you ask me that?
He can ask it you.
Yeah, he did everything.
Do you have any doubts it was suicide?
No. I've been to many autoerotic asphyxiation deaths over the years, and you can tell. The intention's not to kill yourself. The intention is to get some gratification, enjoy yourself. Michael wasn't in the mood to enjoy himself. He was very depressed. He wasn't thinking properly because of the lack of sleep, the medication, the drugs, the alcohol, the argument he just had with Bob Geldof. When you're in that frame of mind, you're not thinking about other people's thoughts. You're only thinking about getting yourself out of the pain that you're in. And I think that's what he was looking at.
I can assure you there was nothing kinky there. Yeah. You wouldn't, I mean, I can dispel that rumour very easily by the fact that you, after fighting with Bob Geldof on the phone for 18 minutes, you know, you don't, oh, I feel horny now, I'm going to, after an argument. You wouldn't do that. You know? It doesn't make sense to me.
I've gone through it time and time again, and, you know, whatever happened, I think it had a large degree to do with the mixing of antidepressants and alcohol, which is just a no-no.
One thing I do want to say, and that is that I think the world should be very careful about taking antidepressants. Things like antidepressants and alcohol mixed together, making people suicidal. And I think the world's got to take a deeper look at it. That's why I can't be angry at, Michael, because if he did take his own life, then I feel that he was sick.
I went to see him at the morgue. I walked into the room, and the door was closed behind me. It's very cold. Michael was laid out with a sheet. And he did look peaceful. I guess all his troubles were gone. And he had a little cut. I guess that was when he hit the door. I just tried to hold his hand. It was so stiff. And I kissed him. I just stayed there for a while, just telling him how much we all loved him and understood. It was okay. It was okay. If he had to let go that way, it was his choice. As sad as it was.
I mean, I remember being at the mortuary, but mainly just being so stupid. You know, thinking I could make him wake up. And then I just I did things like I washed him.
2 months after Michael died, on a boat on Sydney Harbour, on what would have been his 38th birthday, his family and friends gathered to scatter his ashes.
We here now commit the ashes of our dear son, brother, friend, Michael Kelland Hutchence.
Video of that day has recently surfaced.
Birth to earth.
Before now,
ashes to ashes.
It had been rarely seen.
Dust.
It was recorded for and only shared with those who were there.
I was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas blind, but now I see.
After Michael was laid to rest, the fallouts and recriminations from his sudden death were brutal and devastating. A lengthy and acrimonious dispute over his will, initiated by Michael's family, dragged through the courts for years.
The estate was sued, the trust was sued, I was sued. There was, 13, 14 counsel involved for 3 or 4 years.
Michael's mother, Patricia, blamed Paula for her son's depression, which led, she believed, directly to his death. Before she died in 2010, Patricia revealed her final discussions with Michael and made a bitter accusation.
He did not want to marry Paula, and she was pushing for that and said, if you don't marry me, I'm going to commit suicide and take Tiger with her. And I think the final thing for him was that threat, if you don't marry me, you're never going to see Tiger again, ever.
When was the last time you saw Paula and Tiger? At the airport. I went out with them when she was going back after the funeral, and Paula was in the VIP room in the airport. She was lying on the couch, quite distraught still, and Paula and her friend got on the plane and left Tiger Lily in the room, so I had to pick her up and carry her onto the plane and said to Paula, you left something behind. And then I left.
That was the last time you saw them?
That's the last time I saw her, yeah.
A heartbroken Paula never got over Michael's death, despite the best efforts of friends to help her.
She had the utmost support because she took Mike's death extremely badly.
She did?
Yeah, it really did knock her for 6.
I don't think Paula ever could come to terms with losing Michael. I mean, his ashes were actually in a pillow that she'd sleep on every night.
She never recovered. She never recovered. And I like to think about it. Had Mike not have gone, Paula wouldn't have gone. The whole thing would have been different. But that's life. That's what's happened. That's the reality. We've lost them both. Tragedy.
3 years after Michael's death, on her daughter Pixie's 10th birthday, Paula died of an accidental heroin overdose. 14 years later, her second daughter Peaches died in similar circumstances.
I don't want to go in. I just want to say.
Sorry about the smile. Here's Mummy. Busy.
Tiger! I think, you're given a bit of a, tough set of cards when your mum and dad die at that early stage.
Paula and Michael's daughter, Tiger Lily, was raised by Bob Geldof.
Mike, loved Paula. Paula loved Mike. They both loved Tiger.
Oh, yes.
Bob loves Tiger.
There we go. Look at that. What a grown-up guy.
Bob's looked after Tiger, and he took it on with great spirit. And the day that Paula died, I was contacted by him and we gave full support because I felt that Tiger should be with the sisters. And it's worked out very well. She's been well educated and she's very grounded and she's got a great future, which would make both Paula and Michael extremely happy.
What do you need?
For 20 years, the manner of Michael's death and the events that followed have cast a shadow over his legacy. Yet what unites all those who knew him is how much he was loved, and how magnificent a man and a musician Michael Hutchence was. Which is why his new music, now that it's finally been revealed, matters so much.
He wanted people to hear his own artistry and his own voice. And I think in so many ways, his soul really rests in peace because they finally will. And it's excellent.
Putting a little bit of a happy ending on a story that really didn't have one, you know?
He needs to be at peace, you know, something has to happen where it's just a beautiful ending, you know?
It's wonderful because there's something extra. There's a little bit more of Michael left. I mean, he left, you know, we've lived the last 20 years without him.
He shouldn't be defined by one night, you know?
And I think that there are also huge Michael Hutchence fans out there who will feel even more gratified by this discovery.
You know, the fans having an opportunity to hear his voice and hear something new. I know what that's going to mean to them.
I don't think you can emphasize enough just how great the singer is, as well as, you know, that sort of, you know, the personality behind the voice was amazing and interesting, and then tragic. But I think what we're all realizing is just how great a singer we lost, as well as a friend.
He really wanted this. He really wanted his music to be heard.
You know what? We can talk about it till the end of time. Let's just play the track and let the people make up their own mind.
Come back, I want to come now. Give me another day on. I won't look back. All these tears are gone, so gone. Oh, save my life again. Save my life again. Never see why. Tell me why. Give up and give it to me. To me. I won't look back again. Won't
And listening to it now,
It makes sense.
It made me smile. It's good to hear him. He's here.
I miss Michael very much, and there will be a place for him in my heart until the day that I die.
you clearly miss him.
Miss him so much. I miss him a lot. I miss my friend.
There you go.
If this program has raised any personal concerns, please contact Lifeline on 13 11 14 or Beyond Blue on 1300 224 636.